The time is 1 p.m. Eastern, and we will now start the virtual public scoping meeting for the Atlantic Shores North Project Environmental Impact Statement, or EIS. Thank you, everybody, for participating today. My name is Jennifer Piggott, and I will serve as the facilitator for today's meeting. I'm with ICF, the independent contractor supporting the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management, or BOEM. I do want to note that this meeting is being recorded. If you do not wish to be part of this recorded meeting, please disconnect from the call. Closed captions are also available and can be enabled by clicking the Show Captions button at the bottom of your screen. The recording of this meeting will be posted on the project website in the coming week. Let's review the agenda for today's meeting. We'll begin with opening remarks and a few presentations, which should take about an hour. First, Karen Baker, the Chief of the Office of Renewable Energy Programs with BOEM, will provide a few opening remarks. Next, I'm sure that many of us have become familiar with Zoom over the last few years, but we'll review a few tips for the Zoom platform, and I'll point out some key features we'll be using for today's meeting. We'll then move on to a few presentations. The first on the leasing process background, which will be given by Kirby Roots Murdy, the project coordinator in the Office of Renewable Energy Programs with BOEM. Next, we'll have a National Environmental Policy Act, or NEPA, presentation from Kimberly Sullivan, the BOEM Atlantic Shores North NEPA coordinator. After these two presentations, we'll take a quick break before we reconvene for a few pre-recorded presentations. We'll then play 3 pre-recorded presentations. First, Stephanie Wilson with Atlantic Shores will provide a project overview. Next, Kevin Dillon from the New Jersey Board of Public Utilities, or BPU, will provide an overview of the BPU's role in offshore wind in New Jersey. And then finally, Katie Nolan from the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection, or DEP, will provide an overview of DEP's role in offshore wind development. At the conclusion of these pre-recorded presentations, we'll take a short break before we reconvene to take your public comments. Following the public comments, we'll take another quick break and conclude with a question and answer session. Additional breaks may be taken to accommodate our court reporter or captioning team today. Another resource that may be helpful is the Atlantic Shores North virtual meeting room. The virtual meeting room can be accessed at www.boem.gov/atlantic-shores-north-noi-web-virtual-meeting-room. That's a mouthful, and we put that site into the chat for your reference. The virtual meeting room includes publications and information related to the project, including the Notice of Intent, the Construction and Operations Plan, or COP, and appendices, and the dates and times of the public meetings. Additional resources, including the slides accompanying today's presentation and the recording of today's meeting, will be posted to BOEM's virtual meeting room in the coming week. All right, we have a full agenda today and a very large volume of attendees and those wishing to provide formal public comments. So let's go ahead and get started. I would now like to introduce Karen Baker, the Chief of the Office of Renewable Energy Programs with BOEM, for some introductory remarks. Karen, over to you.
Hello, my name is Karen Baker, and I'm the Chief of the Office of Renewable Energy Programs at the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management, or BOEM. Welcome to the public scoping meetings for BOEM's review of the Atlantic Shores Offshore Wind North project. For those of you who aren't familiar with BOEM, we are a federal bureau within the Department of Interior that oversees the development of our energy and mineral resources in the nation's outer continental shelf, or OCS. The OCS extends in most areas from about 3 miles offshore to the fullest extent of the exclusive economic zone, approximately 200 miles offshore. BOEM is responsible for the expeditious and orderly development of the energy resources of the OCS, including renewables like offshore wind. It's our job to ensure this development is done in an environmentally and economically responsible way. This process starts with public input, data gathering, review, and leasing. Your participation and feedback today are so important. An offshore wind project is considered a major federal action, and as a result, we are preparing an environmental impact statement, or EIS, under the National Environmental Policy Act, or NEPA. This NEPA process helps ensure all relevant information and analysis are included in decision making. This meeting is an opportunity for us to hear your concerns and information regarding the scope of the environmental impact analysis. This is your time to be heard. We consider public input to be a critical component of safe and responsible offshore resource management. BOEM team members are here to answer questions, listen to your input, and to help you provide comments. Thanks for coming. We are here to listen and answer your questions. Please help us provide a meaningful and respectful meeting for everyone. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Karen. Appreciate those opening remarks. Okay, before we begin, I'd like to go over the 3 in-person meetings we will be hosting in the coming week. Please make note of these meeting dates and times as the public is invited to attend. These meetings are free and no registration is required. The first in-person meeting will be held at the Berkeley Hotel on Tuesday, April 9th, beginning at 5 p.m. Eastern. Please make note of the address, 1401 Ocean Avenue, Ashbury Park, New Jersey, 07712. The second in-person meeting will be held at Grand Oaks Country Club on Wednesday, April 10th, beginning at 5 p.m. Eastern. Please make note of the address for this meeting, 200 Huguenot Avenue, Staten Island, New York, 10312. The third and final in-person meeting will be held at the Diker Beach Golf Course on Thursday, April 11th, beginning at 5 p.m. Eastern. And that address is 1030 86th Street, Brooklyn, New York, 11228. We posted this information in the chat at your convenience. In addition to today's virtual public meeting and the 3 in-person meetings that I just discussed, we'll be hosting an additional virtual public meeting on April 16th at 5 p.m. Eastern. We will post the registration link and meeting information into the chat for your convenience for that meeting. I want to take a minute or two to review the features that we'll be using during our Zoom meeting today. At any time during the meeting, if you need assistance with the Zoom platform, you can send the meeting host a chat message, and that chat is located at the bottom of your Zoom screen. Or you can send an email to ASOW_North at icf.com, and we posted this email address into the chat. We appreciate you participating in this virtual public scoping meeting. Please make note of the phone number for this meeting. The phone number is 888-788-0099, meeting ID 862-6016-4149, password 401350. If you experience technical difficulty with your internet connection at any point during this meeting, you can call this number to listen to the meeting and still participate. And we posted this call-in information into the chat. I do want to note, I know we have some storms moving through the East Coast right now, so I highly recommend that everybody take down that call-in information to be sure that you can call in if you lose connectivity. Additionally, individual internet connections and bandwidths vary and may impact your viewing experience today. We recommend closing all apps and programs and limiting other streaming or downloads while you're participating in this meeting. Finally, we're running this meeting using Zoom Webinar, which mutes all participants and restricts video feeds. When we get to the public comment portion of today's meeting, the host will unmute you. For any media representatives that join the meeting today, please contact Brian Walsh at Brian, BRIAN Walsh, WALCH at BOEM, BOEM.gov. And we've posted this information into the chat as well. Before we begin, I'd like to review some ground rules for today's virtual public meeting. As previously stated, we'll provide a few presentations before accepting your public comments, and then BOEM will answer any clarifying questions raised during the meeting. When we get to the comment period during today's call, which it'll be a little while before we get to that part, I'll call on the people who requested to make comments when they registered. All names will be called in the order in which we received your pre-registration. After all those folks have commented, I'll ask if anyone else would like to make a comment. You would then use the raise hand feature on the Zoom platform. If you're calling in from a phone, you would type *9. I'll call on people to comment in the order in which you raise your hand, again, after we've heard from the pre-registered folks. And I also would like to note we have about 60 people at this time who have pre-registered for comments. During the comment period, I'll post the names of the next few speakers in the chat so you can see when your turn is coming up. I'll ask the speakers to raise their hand using the raise hand button at the bottom of your screen, or again by pressing *9 if you've called in by phone. When I call your name, you'll receive a pop-up box on your screen that will allow you to unmute yourself to make your comment. Please limit your comments to no more than 5 minutes. Please note that comments can be submitted through regulations.gov and via the U.S. mail. All comments, whether received orally today at today's meeting, at another meeting, in writing, or electronically, are all weighted equally. Throughout today's meeting, if you think of a question that you need clarified, please type your questions into the question and answer box located at the bottom of the Zoom platform. When we get to the question and answer portion of today's meeting, BOEM staff will answer your clarifying questions. When BOEM staff receive your questions via the question and answer box and begin to review and respond to your question, the question will be moved to the dismiss category in the Zoom platform. That change in status indicates that BOEM is actively working on a response to your question. We'll review all of this again before the comment period and the question and answer session. Please keep in mind that this meeting is being recorded and transcribed, and I would ask that there is no inappropriate language. We appreciate the opportunity to share these project updates and this process with you. Again, the purpose of this virtual public meeting is to share information about the project and to receive your public scoping comments.